Choose the right financial experts to supersize your business. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Let's talk about it today. Today our topic is how to pick the right money managers, financial advisors, financial gurus, experts, consultants, whatever it is you need, coaches, etc. for you, for your business, to help you grow and build and supersize. First, when are some of the times for your business that you might want to look into hiring a financial advisor? I think I've shared this story that one of the first people I hired when I first started owning and operating and running my own businesses was an accountant. And the first run at that, I did not pick the right person. And I learned from that experience, and I'll tell you through how to pick, and then when to pick is whenever you need financial help and advice, right? You don't feel like you have the expertise yourself. But I did learn through that experience the importance of vetting and qualifying and picking based on 5 criteria that I use now, the right person for me. And I'll share that in a minute. But first, let's talk about when you want to look for somebody. If you're starting to invest and you don't know where to begin, for your business or for yourself personally, probably time to look for some financial expertise. Now, keep in mind, financial advice can come from anywhere. Now you can ask ChatGPT or one of the other AIs. You can do your own research. You can read some books. You can look for advisors, which we'll talk about. But if you're looking to begin investing and you don't know where to start, that's a great time to seek some help and education, right? We always educate ourselves first before we make a decision and choice. Secondly, if you're struggling with finances or cash flow in your business, you might want to look for somebody to help you out. If you want to maximize retirement and investing for your business, if you're facing major business changes or life changes that impact your business, like a divorce or inheritance, or if you're raising money for your business, etc. And if you're considering making a big purchase, a big equipment or a property purchase or other large investment, you might need some expertise and help with that particular thing. You know, most of us go out and we get a real estate agent when we want to buy or sell a property. Most of us go out and get a tax person when we want to minimize our taxes but pay our fair share. So those are just some ideas of thinking about, okay, well, when do I need help with this? And I think by now you're probably pretty good at saying, okay, I've figured a lot of things out for myself and built this business, but here are the key people and components we need to put together to really grow and go to the next level and supersize. So what are some of these criteria that we look at? And the criteria I now look at, because I'll share the one I didn't look at originally. When I hired my first accountant, I just went on the advice of someone I know, like, and trust, but it turned out that person was right for them and their situation, but not for me and my situation. So what are some of these criteria? Number 1, credentials and qualifications. You need to find somebody who is truly trained and knows what they're doing and talking about with respect to, especially things with accounting and tax experts and tax planning, all things that impact our finances. We need to make sure that we're finding a person that really knows what they're talking about and know what they're doing. So between number 1 and number 2, 1 is check out their credentials and qualifications. 2 is to verify their experience and their track record. The statistics, for example, on personal or on financial advisors and how much money they actually make and how successful they are versus what they're selling to people, because they're usually selling one company's products or services solely because they're contractually required to do that. And I didn't really understand that or know that until my nephew went into the field, and I'm like, well, this is just horrific, because the vast majority, I think it's some like high 80s or 90 some percent of financial advisors are broke. They don't have retirement plans or things that they're trying to sell you. They don't have a successful financial track record. So it's really imperative that, just like if you were hiring an employee for your business, you do your homework, you do your research, you look into them, you look for their track record, you verify their credentials, you verify their qualifications, and talk to a couple of people that they've worked with. I mean, it only takes about 5 minutes to ring somebody up, call them or text them and say, hey, I'm just looking for some feedback and some information on this person. What'd you like best about them? Or what's some area that you clashed? You know, get your questions answered. Thirdly, we're going to look for somebody with an area of specialization that's consistent with what our goal or objective is. Before we do any of this, we need to know what our goal is financially and what we're looking for in seeking out a coach or an advisor or a money manager or a CFO, whatever it is for our company. Then we're going to consider fourth, their communication style, which is really important. I had my first accountant always talked down to me. Now, I don't know if it was because I was a woman, this was a long time ago, or what, but made me feel really, really stupid whenever I asked a question. And do you really want to work with somebody that makes you feel stupid and ignorant every time you ask a question about the area that they're an expert at, and you just want an answer to your question because you're not an expert at it? It's why you hire them. So communication style, can you ask questions and can they translate it and explain it in a way that you understand? That's critical when choosing a coach in any area or aspect of our life, or especially a financial expert or advisor. And then finally, personal compatibility. Now you might think, well, it doesn't have to be personally with me for my business because I'm not going to be the person that interacts with this person. But I'll tell you what, yes you are. If you are hiring a CFO or if you're outsourcing a CFO for your organization, you better be involved personally as the founder and owner of your business, as I guess only as long as you want to keep the resources that you're building and make sure that your finances are sound. Again, personal compatibility was another one I didn't consider the first time, but I certainly considered it the second time. When I hired my next accountant, who I had for 30 years, I think it's going on 30 years now, I put them through the rigorous type of interviewing and process like I experienced when I was getting jobs in corporate America. Now I hear hiring is way different than it was, and interviewing things are way different than they were. Everybody does everything online and through the internet initially now to get pre-screened out, and then usually a phone or Zoom interview, and then a series of in-person interviews and tests and things if they want to move you along in the process. So it's really interesting. It's interesting watching my college age nephews and nieces go through this process because it's so different than it was when I was in corporate America. So again, what are those 5 things? Let's review them quickly. Credentials and qualifications and certifications, expertise and track record, specialization. Do they have the expertise and the specialization and expert knowledge in the area that you need help in? And communication style and personal compatibility. Do they understand your goals and vision for what it is you're trying to create? And do you have common core values and things? Because it's really important. And are they going to honor what it is that you want and how you want things done? So that's our topic today. I would love if you would share in the comments below just a lesson learned or something you're grateful for from a financial expert that you have been involved with. Maybe you just read somebody's awesome book and you want to recommend it to the rest of us in the comments below. But let's share the wisdom today and help one another out, especially in an area that can sometimes be tricky. All right, have an awesome day. If I can help you in any way, ask. Otherwise, be with you tomorrow.